All right, today I'll be looking at another topic on generational curses. We're going to do a lot of series on this generational curses, and I hope we are learning. And always drop your comment, try to follow me on my pages, and let's work together to building a better nation. I've been called to nation building, national development. That's my core area, and I'm interested in charting a course on changing our patterns and things that have made it impossible for the African continent, particularly Nigeria, from generation to generation, to have a headway and move like every other country on earth is moving. And today I'll be looking at the course of African time, the one you call African time, generational course. Are you not even shocked and surprised that there's something called African time? Worldwide, what we'll have is time zone, it can be 7 o'clock in Nigeria, 6 o'clock elsewhere, and 8 o'clock elsewhere, and like that. But there's now a concept called African time. And African time, that concept simply means the tendency for an African to come late to events. To come late to events. The African man never keeps to time. That's the reason why the European coined it, African time. You tell a Nigerian man an event is 1 p.m., he's going to come by 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. Do you know, as minor as it may look, this is actually responsible for a lot of challenges we have. If you go on Google right now to check certain projects, I will use one project for example, with due respect to the government. I'll use a project for example. You will discover that several projects that your government have had, even when you get to the time of supposed execution, they are not ready. There was something called Vision 2010. Then we created Vision 2020. Do you know the year we are in now? 2022. Even the criteria we're supposed to meet to actualize what we call Vision 2010 at 2022, 12 years later, we've not met any. African time. Arriving late to an event. If the event was scheduled for 2010, even in 2022, you are still not there. That's African time working. Patterns, practices, challenges that are sent to transcend from one generation to the other. That is what I call generational causes. That's my definition. Why haven't we achieved the very indices we set to achieve as part of Vision 2010 in 2022? African time. Coming late all the time. An event is scheduled for 1 p.m., 3 p.m., you are still not there. An event scheduled for 2010, 2022, you are still not there. It's the same pattern. As you build this thing into your system, you generally don't take anything serious. That's the issue with the African man. If you go to some countries, you will understand what I mean, what I'm saying in detail. Everybody is punctual. In fact, there are companies that have fired their driver for coming 5 minutes late, 5 seconds late. Some train drivers, I'm not joking, check out, those drivers for a train, some of them have lost their job for coming 5 seconds behind schedule. Go and find out. 5 seconds. Even 1 hour behind schedule in Nigeria train station, nobody will even behave as if even the train driver does not agree that he has done anything wrong. Do you know how many flights are rescheduled every day in Nigeria. No apology, no nothing. So we have no respect for time culturally, and we do not seem to realize that our life is time dependent. And when somebody wastes your time, he's wasting your life. He's wasting your life. The African man don't seem to understand this. Your life is a measure of time. 2 weeks old, 1 year old, 2 years old. What is year? Seconds, 60 seconds make a minute. 1 minute, 60 minutes makes an hour. 24 hours make a day. 7 days make a week. 4 weeks on the average make a month. 12 months make a year. You don't know 10 years make a decade. It's all measure of time. Just the way you have what you call 1,000, 1 million, 1 billion, 1 trillion. That's exactly the way it is. Your entire life is measured in time. And when somebody wastes your 1 hour, they've denied you that 1 hour of your life. That's exactly what it means. And you should take it very seriously. This cultural desire to waste time, we're basically wasting our life. We're basically wasting our lives. That is what you're supposed to achieve at a certain age, almost twice that age, you're not able to achieve it. The government is wasting your time. The society is wasting your time. The culture is wasting your time. Everything is just going wrong. Your flight is delayed. No apology whatsoever. In fact, the organization, the company, doesn't even behave as if they've done anything wrong. I don't want to mention compensation. Forget about that one. Everybody thinks it's fine. You have an appointment with someone. He keeps you waiting for hours on end at the reception. And finally, you get in. No apology for wasting your time. He's not done anything wrong. He's a big man. He can't do wrong. If you ever schedule a meeting with somebody from the other part of the world, the Western world, you discover that once they waste your time, the first thing they do is apology. They will send their secretary, anybody, to apologize to you several times. And when you eventually come in, they still tender another apology. In Nigeria, it is even you that apologize to the man for coming too early. Okay, I didn't know you were busy. I would have waited a little. You see, we don't seem to understand and appreciate this thing as another factor. I will give you a practical example so that you understand how it works. If you work in an office, for example, let me say you are a doctor. Okay, that's a better one. You're a doctor. You see patients. There's an emergency. You are not on ground. 1 hour late. Do you know somebody can die? Because you don't seem to understand that your life is measured in time. 1 hour late. You only just come to sign the death certificate. When you go to hospital and the doctor is not on seat, how do you feel? You feel very happy, you rejoice, you sing his praise. And when he comes, you are very happy that he kept you there. Mostly when you are very sick, as in very, very sick. Are you happy? You're not. But don't you do the same in your own office? Delay people unnecessarily. Keep them waiting unnecessarily. Don't you go late to parties? Blame it on traffic. Don't you go late to even work? And blame it on anything you can. Respect your time. When you have respect for your time, you have respect for your life, you have respect for other people's lives. My best friends are the ones who keep to time. Everyone who knows me knows this. If you have a love for not keeping to time, we're going to have problem all the time. You and I will be fighting all the time. You want to be a friend with me? you must respect my time. Do you know some people don't even have enough time? They don't have enough time. People are so busy, you don't even have enough time for yourself, let alone the one somebody would waste for you. This love for late coming, this is New Year 2022. Let's stop it. Punctuality is the game. Respect every other person's time. Respect your own. If you get there, nobody's there, you have a right to walk away and go home. In this part of the world, it's a class symbol. There are those who are expected to come late to events because of who they are. Really? Really? Let's learn to respect each other's time. Let's learn it. It's disrespectful not to have respect and regard for somebody else's time, because that person's life is time dependent, and when you have no regard for someone's time, you have no regard for that person's life. That's the meaning. That's the implication. Let's learn to respect each other's time. If a meeting is scheduled for a specific time, bros, just try. Be there on time. Auntie, I beg you in the name of God, just be there on time. Respect others. The fact that you are their boss does not make them no longer human being. They equally have a life. I'm sure you don't want to be responsible for the destruction of their life. If you and I believe everybody is created in God's image, do you know when you're wasting time, you're wasting God's time? You say God's time is the best. That thing they call God's time, when is it? When is it? When the white man says, I'm going to do this thing at so time, he does it. To him, that's God's time. But the African man doesn't do anyone. He's waiting for God's time. So when is God's time? When is God's time? Let's have respect for one another. Protect one another. Love one another. We obviously move forward. Thank you.